Good morning there, Shield Wall Nation. This is going to be a video about should you bug in or should you bug out. Now that's a good question, really. It's a question more for the people that are either stuck in a situation, if they're traveling a long distance in their car and they happen to get stuck on the side of the road, a severe storm comes through, whatever the case may be, the end of the world, the SHTF that happens. When do you bug in and when do you bug out? Now, if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you break down, just call AAA, call a family member, call someone, and they'll come and get you. It's easy as that. Sometimes you may be stuck someplace that you do not have signal. So that at that point, you probably should get out unless it's freezing cold and you don't have the means to survive out. You should probably keep in your car and keep it running. And at least if it's snowing heavily, make sure your exhaust on your car is unblocked so then you can keep your car running as long as possible until help arrives. Maybe put a little signal on the side of the road. If you kind of go off the side of the road, put some sort of little signal to kind of attract someone to that location. If you're just kind of on the side of the road and people can still see you pretty well, eventually someone will break down. Just put put your hazard lights on and some flags out. Now, get into the actual bugging out. As far as your location, as far as if you're in the middle of nowhere or a SHTF situation, should you bug in or should you bug out? Here's the kind of the thought process I think of, depending on the situation I'm in, is if I'm in an urban area or a rural area. If I'm in an urban area and chaos ensues, whether it's like the Chaz Chop situation, perfect example, or in case of real countrywide or worldwide SHTF that happens, whether it's natural disaster, man-made disaster, whatever it may be, do you bug in or bug out? In a urban area, I say we bug out because there's going to be a lot of civil unrest, and a lot of people just going door to door like they did in Chaz or Chop, whatever you want to call it, and basically rob people, assault people, sexually assault people. You don't want to put you and your family at risk for such a situation. So, you really do gotta think about that. So there's that. And if you do bug out of any location really, but this is more primarily talking about an urban area, you want to make sure you actually have a location to bug out to. You don't want to just walk, grab your bag with all your stuff in it, walk out on the street and go, where to now? You got to make sure you have a friend that you can go to that's in a safe location, not another place within the city, but somewhere outside of the city that you've been talking to and you've been prepping with for a while. Yeah, you want that person. Or if you have another bit of property that's in a rural area, you want to make sure you have a location. No, you're not going to go and, I'm going to live off the land. I'm going to go hunt and trap my food. I'm going to go fishing for my food. I'm going to build a shelter out of sticks and corpses of my enemies. No, you're not, unless you do that now and you're living that life now. No amount of YouTube videos are going to suddenly imbue the knowledge and skill to do so. You will go out there confident, and then day 2 comes around, you're going to be pissing your pants because you don't know what the heck you're doing, and you dragged your whole family out there with you. No, you're not. Make sure your second location you can get to, and make sure that second location is also prepared for you to help get you prepared and safe for for months at a time, 6 months, a year. Now, you're escaping that city because of that civil unrest or even a natural disaster, the hurricane coming through. It's going to be a horrible hurricane, or you're in New Orleans and Katrina came through, right? You want to bug out. Your house is flooded. You need another location. See, those are reasons to get out, but you got to have a second location, right? Okay, let's say you're in a very well situated location. You're in a rural area. Your neighbors are a rifle range away, rifle shot away. They're just far away where you have to squint to see them. And you're like, are they waving? I think so. Let me get my binoculars. I can still barely see them. You want to be that kind of rural. And if you are, do you bug in or do you bug out? In my opinion, I would bug in. That is my safe location. I can see for a long distance if someone's coming up that road that don't belong up in that road, coming up my driveway that does not belong in my driveway, right? That is your secure location. That's where you put all your prep at. That's where you put all your stored food and water and medical items, so you can stay there and sustain yourself for either the week that you need to because of that natural disaster, or the months to year because that civil unrest or that man-made disaster, that horrific natural disaster, especially like I mentioned before in New Orleans. You might not be able to go back for months, but you got to be prepared for that. Now, how do you prepare for things like that? You got to look at your area. How hot does it get during the summer? How cold does it get during the winter? Are you in a low-lying plain or basin where there's tons of flooding that can happen? Or are you up in the mountains? You got to prepare for a landslide, right? You got to think of those things. I'm here in Texas, where you're basically swimming in 90-degree water because it's so humid. So you got to prepare for that. Shorts and a shirt. But then there also gets a point during the fall time where it's 80 degrees during the day and it can drop down to freezing at night. You also had to prepare for that. Not only preparing that for a bug out situation, but also a bug in situation. You don't want to get to your location and you're fine and dandy with your shorts and shirt, and then winter comes around, you have no jacket. You got to prepare for that. So also prepare for your element of your area. The element of the area that you're bugging out and the element of the area that you're bugging in. You got to prepare for those. Winter and summer. The hottest it can get and the coldest it can get. And prepare. Now, once you have that taken care of, you also have to keep in mind, if you're bugging out, how far is your bugging in location, the location you're going to? How far is that? Most bug out bags, you want to have a bug out bag that can sustain you for 72 hours. So that means if you have a family, you have to have their bug out bags sustain them for 72 hours. Now, if they're small little kids, they might not be able to carry a lot. So that means you have to carry theirs plus yours. So you got to make sure you have a good bug out bag, a sturdy bug out bag. I'm not saying it has to be expensive, but it has to be high quality. Because if you don't have high quality, it's going to tear apart because now you're carrying a whole bunch of weight that bag may not be able to sustain. So you have that 72-hour bug out bag. Well, let's say your bug out location, and you had to walk, let's say, and your bug out location is further than 72 hours. That's total travel. 72 hours, you may have to set up caches, however you want to pronounce it, to get to that location. So you have point A, you're leaving point A to your cache, to another cache, to your location. Gotta think of that too. Bugging out's just not like, hey, you're going to throw a backpack on your back, you're going to start skipping merrily down the road, and then voila, you come across this paradise. Or you're going to go into the forest and you're going to hunt, scavenge, and pillage and whatever the heck you're going to do in order to survive. No, you're not. Unless you're doing it now. So that's my little take on bugging in or bugging out. Do you bug out in an urban environment? I say yes. Do you bug in an urban environment? No, but you should bug in a rural environment if you're far away from your neighbor. Those are all my opinions. That's the kind of situations what I think of, if I should bug in or bug out. And I hope that kind of helps you think of your situation and the situations that you can be in depending on the weather and natural disasters in your area, and get you and your family out safely and in a smart way. So without further ado, I am out of here. I hope you stay strong and build this shield wall together. You have a great day.